Good morning, everyone. I made this video to share a short insight with you that I had this morning in my meditation, but this is about self-interest. Now, when I was a student of management and studying economics, and there was one thing that used to always get me very charged up. So when I used to see the assumptions in economics that human beings operate out of pure self-interest, it used to make me, I was the activist type. I was like, no, this can't be true. Human beings are not like that. And I almost looked at self-interest as the wrong thing. And how dare economists make this assumption about human beings? Now, fast forward many years later, today I realized, at least for me, this is my realization, and it could be totally different for you, and even mine could change in the future. But as of this moment, I feel that self-interest is not a bad thing. B, it's not the problem, but what's actually the problem for a lot of people, including me, is the lack of self-interest, the lack of interest in oneself, the lack of caring and love for oneself. Now, how did I arrive at this conclusion? Okay, so I'm just going to go with my own example. So I'm also a yoga teacher. I have been practicing and doing, I know a whole bunch of yoga and different modalities, and I know how amazing it is when I get up in the morning and I do something, I do some asanas, I do some meditation. I know it's really good for me. I feel different. I bloom. But do I do it every day? No, I don't. So yesterday I slept in. Today I got up because I had a morning sadhana practice that I'd committed to someone else. And I don't do it as regularly as I can or as I should. Similarly with eating food. I have a bad tummy today because I junked a lot yesterday, and I know exactly why I junked also. There was a certain space where I was unwilling to go, and instead I started junking. Okay. And I'm aware of all these things, but here's the thing. If I truly cared about myself enough and my body, I would be looking after myself much better. I know that. So more self-interest, more interest in me, this body, this life, what I can do is actually going to be good for me. It is the lack of interest and caring in myself, my life, my job, my body that actually keeps me doing things like sleeping in late and junking and all of that. You can extrapolate from your own lives. And in terms of how is it good for others? Well, when I've also noticed that when I get up and when I take good care of myself, I'm nicer to my family members, nicer to the people around me, nicer to the community, more productive. I'm actually a better gift to others as well. So me being interested in myself and caring for myself and loving myself has positive repercussions literally for the whole planet. Point number 2. Okay, if I was truly interested in myself and truly cared about myself, then I would be more honest to myself about what brings me joy, what brings me alive, what turns me on, what delights me, and I would do those activities instead of what a lot of us do, and we've been doing, and we're somewhere in our journeys along that, which is maybe earning money just to show others that, hey, I've made it, or just sort of taking part in certain activities. And sometimes these, even like, and I do this sometimes, I just take part in charity drives or something because I want to feel good and I want to seem good according to the standards that others have set. So if I truly was interested more in myself than in what others are thinking, then I would look for my own self-approval much more, which means I would be actually doing the things that bring me alive, rather than diluting and scattering myself all over doing a whole bunch of things because I'm more interested in the other people. I'm more interested in what they think of me. I'm more interested in their approval and their validation and their feedback and their judgment. Okay. Point number 3. If I truly had self-interest and if I was truly interested in my life and I did even a little bit of basic introspection on it, very soon anyone with any level of rudimentary intelligence would start realizing that we don't live alone. We don't live on islands, right? And which means we live in an interconnected space, in a community, on the planet, which means caring for ourselves automatically, naturally starts going into, okay, I'm not happy when people around me are not happy. So now let me look at what I can do for them, or what I can do, which sort of is a win-win for all of us, okay? Or things like, sustainability that we talk about. If you truly care about yourself and you're interested in yourself, you're also looking at, okay, how can you make this happiness sustain, which means you're already taking a sustainable mindset, instead of what's happening now to a lot of people, which is just the opposite. Instead of the self-interest, the self-care and the self-love and really wanting the best for yourself, what a lot of us are plagued with is self-doubt, self-hatred. No, I'm not exaggerating. We hate certain aspects of ourselves, self-judgment. And when we operate and beating ourselves down, guilt, and when we operate from these places, then what happens to others? We project this onto others as well. So if we are hating ourselves, then somewhere this hatred is also projected outside, the same interconnection. And then, if we are, let's say we are not honoring ourselves, we're judging ourselves, then we project that outside, and this then brings us into this whole, what we all know, this sticky, messy place that we operate from. And in that place, then even when we then try to help ourselves, and then we sort of take the philosophy or the textbook thing very literally and say, I should help others, and I should not only think about myself, I should think about others. We're doing it from the place of I have to, and here I am dying inside, no energy, no life, but I've been told I have to help others and I have to care for others, and that's being a nice thing and good thing, and so I do it, and I'm not motivated to do it because here I am half dying inside and I'm not even being me, when I'm supposed to be interested in the welfare of others and what is happening. Okay, so just my little tip for you today, and this may not be applicable for everyone, but if you're feeling lack of motivation to get up, to do things, to do those so-called good things that you've been told you have to do, then put aside all that gyan and just adopt self-interest. True, radical, complete self-interest. Be interested in yourself. Inquire about yourself. What makes you happy? What turns you on? Care about yourself. Start loving yourself and see what's really good for you, your body, to bring you alive. And see from there, aren't you being actually the bigger, better gift that you could be to yourself and to everyone? Okay, have a lovely day. And and I did want to tell you, I have a newsletter that I have restarted after many years. So if you want to stay up to date on my writings, poems, videos, whatever, do subscribe to it, and I'll put a link to the subscription below. Bye. Have a lovely day.